The specific topics we're going to be covering are the ones that are viable in the very short term. So that we're not talking about what's emerging or in the future. These are things that if the government wanted to do that, or if Jersey wanted to do that, is for part or offset some of the energy sources, this is possible and it's doable. Each one would have a price implication, and that impacts the people of Jersey because ultimately you're the one paying for the electricity. So that's important we understand that. And really our overall objective is that if we can help the government and perhaps if they're digging deeper and looking at alternatives, offer some other people to work with them so that they may form a specific task force or group to really dig in deep. And they may already have this underway, but maybe they'll tap into some of the energy experts as well so that ultimately the decisions coming forward are the best possible for Jersey. So that's just a little summary of what we're talking about. We already have a contract with France, and that is under a certain price. That'll be renegotiated in 2026 sometime, and that will have to be in place regardless, because the reality is we need electricity. And the other side of it, it's served us very well in the past, so we should not forget that. So that'll be kind of the base case. So why would we do anything different than that? But we're getting in a situation where they're going to have to negotiate prices, and the only alternative we have right now to balance that is our oil conversion. And so we do have an option. We should always recognize that we could fire that up, get it going again. So if they try and charge us too much until we get an alternative, we could say thank you very much, but no thank you. And there's another case that we're not talking about today, but is this whole CO2 issue. And the reason it's being taken off the table is because Jersey is elected to go carbon neutral, and that's a discussion for a later date. But recognize that right now we do have a choice. You don't have to get backed in and pay outrageous prices because you do have a choice. Now there's a lot of other choices that clearly are carbon neutral, but are, regardless of the carbon, the CO2 issue, are valid on their own rights as an option to provide potentially low-cost energy, and it could be an and or mix with our contract with France. But recognize if we offset our contract with France, eat up some of that volume, the price would go up because you get economy of scale. So those issues need to be considered. And so we'll certainly look at that. So I'd also like to welcome our esteemed panel members, Paul Burgess. I'll let you read these guys are experts. They know what they're talking about, and we are so blessed to have them come and sit in. They're volunteering their own time. They're going to assess what's going on. They're going to ask some good questions, and you'll have a chance to not only question the speakers, but the panel. So that'll be very interesting. Dr. Ewan Means and Steve Wood, who's sitting over here. Wave, Steve, you're not at the table, but he will be.
Should I be?
Yeah, I think when it's time, when it's the line of fire time. So I do want to thank you very much for coming and putting in your time. That's what makes this conference work. So I think you've all got a copy of the agenda. It's a full agenda. So the process will be the speaker will give their talk, the panel will ask a few questions, and then we'll open it to the public. And then we'll go to the next one. There's a lot of stuff, so we got to and my job is to keep us on track.